I'm Andrew Rigie of the New York City Hospitality Alliance. I'm so excited for what we're about to do that I'm standing here in the rain. We are at Queens Together's launch for their Queens Restaurant Month. Now, this organization is incredible, as you'll hear. They help with food relief. They were critical during the pandemic, helping small businesses, feeding our essential workers, and doing so much more great work. We're going to go in, we're going to talk with restaurateurs, we're going to talk with chefs and community advocates all about the great work they're doing in this great restaurant month that is coming up right here in Queens. I am here at the Queensboro with Michael, the co-owner of this incredible restaurant. It's not the first time I've actually been here, not just to eat, but to be here for Queens Together event, which we're getting ready for the press conference to launch the amazing Queens Together restaurant month. So I guess my first question is, why are all these events being hosted here, and what's your connection with this organization?
So we started doing events with Jonathan Forgash before the pandemic. He was raising money to send lawyers down to the Texas border to help with family separation cases. And so we hosted events to raise money for that before the pandemic. Very early in the pandemic, Jonathan reached out to me and asked if we would be interested in bringing meals to Elmhurst Hospital, which, as you know, was absolutely the center of the storm in the early COVID epidemic. Was a lifeline for us. It allowed us to sort of reactivate our restaurant space, use our inventory, and do something really good for the community. And so we've been working really closely with Queens Together ever since then, starting with those early meals to the hospital and eventually helping with food relief in the neighborhood. The mission statement was that we were going to be a community-oriented restaurant. And the events of the pandemic really helped crystallize what that meant. You can say that in its nice words, but when the community is in crisis, that really focuses what your mission becomes. And Jonathan helped us realize that mission. We knew that there was a need at Elmhurst Hospital, but I didn't know anybody. He made the connections for us, right?
So before everyone else gets here for the press conference about Queens Restaurant Month and everyone else has to set up doing their jobs, what's the one message you want to convey? What should people know about Queens Restaurant Month?
It's a great opportunity to get a taste of what we do well in Queens, and at the same time support our communities and support the food relief work.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Thank you for coming to the Queensboro today. I'm going to introduce Jonathan Forgash, who's been our partner in food relief and so much else. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you for the work you do.
Michael, guys, thanks for hosting today. It means a lot to us. I'm Jonathan Forgash, the Executive Director of Queens Together. We are a restaurant-driven food relief organization. Our collective efforts provide culturally rich meals and groceries to neighbors facing food insecurity while promoting business success in a thriving community. March 1st begins our second annual Eats in Queens Restaurant Month, where people donate and dine for a great cause as they eat their way around the world's borough. Participating restaurants will offer discounts, specials, exclusive events to people who donate $25 or more. We're very excited about these exclusive events. They're a way to drive even more traffic to our participating restaurants while offering donors fun ways to enjoy the diverse food scene in Queens.
My name is Pratt. I'm from Spicy Lanka. We're an authentic Sri Lankan cuisine. We try to serve food that's authentic, that we eat at home. Sri Lanka is an unknown country. We're trying to get that out there. Queens Together, I'm fairly new to them, but from what I've seen, they go above and beyond. They help out. It's between events that they were hosting, and I just see that they're very, very involved, and that's why I try to take my time out and get involved in these people and back them up as much as I could, because I know in the future Queens Together is going to be a very, very big help above and beyond what my expectations are. Yes.
Hey, my name is Rick White. I'm the owner of the Beer and Cheese Collective in Astoria. I got involved with Queens Together early on in the pandemic. I sit on the advisory board, and it's become a very, very important organization to me. It has allowed me to get more involved with my community. It's given me a mission to be more involved with my community and the greater Queens community at large.
My name is Brian Shantum. I'm the owner of Zap Zap Thai restaurant. It's a northeastern Thai restaurant. Queens Together had helped me a lot. I met Jonathan during COVID, and I didn't meet him actually till 2 years later. After COVID, we only spoke on the phone. He got me my first meals for the heroes in Elmhurst. It was the first 200 meals. Ever since then, I've been doing up to 20,000 meals per day. And I've been helping out the Queens community ever since.
I am here with Stephen Picker from the Food and Beverage Partnership, which is part of the New York City Department of Small Business Services. Stephen actually used to own a restaurant. I've known him for a lot of years, and now you're working in government. So I guess my first question is, when you work in government, but you come from a restaurant industry background, and then you're at an event like this, what do you think? What kind of feelings do you get? Because you can connect to it so well.
I mean, I thank for the question. These are people that I know well. I used to be one of them. I feel like the groundswell of folks doing great work is something that exists in this industry across the city. It's something I don't think, honestly, city government knows about. And so events like this are fantastic because city government actually sees that restaurants have always cared for themselves and their customers and their communities. And this is an opportunity for city government to understand what's actually happening in the streets and to actually figure out ways to utilize those businesses in ways to spread information, spread support for folks in communities across the city.
I'm here with Jeff Garcia. This is near and dear to my heart because he's a restaurant guy, a nightlife guy, a friend, and we at the Hospitality Alliance were really big in getting the city to create the Office of Nightlife. And we had a great executive director that helped kick off the office. She has since left after 5 years, and now they could not have selected a better person, Mayor Adams, than Jeffrey Garcia to be in this new role of executive director at the city's Office of Nightlife, housed at the New York City Department of Small Business Services. A very big business card, and you're out here. We're in Queens for the launch of this year's Restaurant Month. You got some great food here. I'm a little jealous, and I have to go eat in a bit. But first, talk to me. What exactly does your office do? Because you hear Office of Nightlife, people are like, I want that job. What do I do? Just go out clubbing every night? But I feel like it's more than just that.
No. It's not just that. However, Andrew, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Andrew has been a wonderful partner. We've worked together on many issues around advocacy around the industry, navigated through COVID, and here we are now, continuing to do great things for this industry that really keeps New York City vibrant and alive. So what does the office do? It's very much a daytime job with a nighttime component, right? Because, you need to understand what the issues are that are going on during the night. However, we are a non-enforcement agency within city government that is basically a liaison between the nightlife industry. When I say nightlife industry, it's not just clubs, it's bars, it's restaurants, it's event spaces, and basically we're your liaison. We're your eyes and ears within city government. So if you're having an issue, if you need some help, always feel free to reach out. And now that we're housed under Small Business Services, we can even go much further. We can help in getting you free commercial lease assistance, finding you access to capital, and working with our New York City Best team to help you navigate issues within your business.
Jeffrey Garcia, Executive Director, New York City Office of Nightlife at the New York City Department of Small Businesses. If you own a restaurant, bar, or nightclub and need support, reach out. Let's go get some food.
We're here to help. Thank you.
We're in Queens. We're at a restaurant. We're talking to a restaurant, so you probably don't need an introduction, but why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Joe DiStefano. I'm widely known as the culinary king of Queens. And today, though, I am here in my role as good friend and PR partner for Jonathan Forgash and Queens Together and Eats in Queens Restaurant Month, a cause very near and dear to my heart and stomach.
Yes, same here. So let's first talk Queens Together, and then we'll talk food. So you're working on their PR with them. What does that mean? How are you getting the word out? What should people know about Restaurant Month and the organization?
Queens Together was started sort of like as a restaurant, we'll say, benevolent association, sort of like the Alliance. But then COVID happened, and they said, well, Jonathan said, how can we help restaurants and help people? And he said, well, let's feed frontline workers. And it's just sort of evolved from there. But there's always this sort of undercurrent of it's about Queens and Queens restaurants.
I am here with Lois and Gordon, historic Mears Tavern. He and the bar are really iconic. Tell us just quickly who you are. Tell us about the bar, just in case there's someone that doesn't know.
I'm the guy that was crazy enough to go from a customer to actually owning a small restaurant that I had no business owning. But I did it from passion because one of America's oldest taverns was days from closing. And I felt someone had to do something about that. And if it wasn't me, I would hope that somebody else would, but it happened to be me. And so we were able to return it to the iconic status that it once was. And now it's one of the most famous places in New York City and a street named after it because of that. One of the first ones in the country, and even the United States Congressional Record, they input us in their history books. So we're proud that it's returned back to historic iconic status. And Goodfellas was filmed there, of course.
What should I order when I go there? I need one thing off your menu food-wise, and then one drink, and I'd probably like to sit up at the bar.
I know it might be corny, but I'm going to say with the food, Goodfellas Burger, 2022, it was named Top 10 Burger in New York State by New York State Beef Council. Beef Council, not vegetarian.
So they have some clout.
Yeah. And the Wise Guy cocktail.
Yeah.
Listen, we have 195 years. There's so much Mae West history, Ben Stiller history, Andrew Bourdain, but people still love the Goodfellas movie. So we're going to highlight that, and we're running with it. And the Goodfellas Challenge, you got to do that. You have not been to Nearest Tavern if you didn't do the Goodfellas Challenge.
Is it the scene, though, when they, after the times of heist, when they come in and, one has, the coat on and they got the car outside.
And then they got Pink Cadillac outside and Robert, what did I tell you?
I know.
What did I tell
you?
you?
The things, and I feel like I always go back to it. Like, food's amazing, hospitality's amazing, but it's something about restaurants and taverns like Nears that really connect with people on such an emotional level, a historic level, and thank you for saving it. Thank you for all you do, because we know it's not easy. It's tough, but your love for it just oozes out through the way you speak. Your commitment. You're a little crazy for it, but that's why we love you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Here I am with the man around Queens, Jonathan Forgash, the founder of the amazing organization Queens Together. Jonathan, thank you for all you do, and thanks for having this conversation. So, I had said it earlier that there are certain people that you meet and you just quickly fall in love with them, and you are truly one of those people. I mean, I think when you look at you, you just can tell you have a big heart, and the work that you've been doing with Queens Together to really support local restaurants, restaurant workers, but then to help feed the greater Queens community is just remarkable. And, out of all the doom and gloom of the pandemic, one of those rays of sunshine were you, the team, and Queens Together, because you were able to just support so many folks in their times of need. So we've heard a lot of people talk about what Queens Together is, what it does, but, you are the driving force behind it. So tell me, what does it mean to you to run an organization like this?
It's amazing. It started out as a way to support restaurants and work with restaurants to support people. But it really turns out that restaurant owners, being who they are, gave right back to Queens Together. We have friendships now. They're not my clients, right? They're not just our restaurant partners or members of the organization. These owners came together, so we worked together, we planned together, we create events together, and I feel like I'm part of a family. I feel like I'm back in the kitchen again. These are your family, these are your people, and I couldn't be happier.
That's amazing. It really is like a community. I always say the people that I work with have really become like friends and family, and that's what I think it is. It's more than just an industry. It's kind of a restaurant community. So tell me, kind of big picture, what are the main operations of Queens Together? What do you do?
So the unsexy part, the background stuff is we help restaurants do better in business. So that means there's always a lot of news from SBS, SBA, the government, agencies for grants, proposals, news, education. And I sort of distill it down to a headline and a blurb and links. And we send out a newsletter every Monday, the restaurant industry newsletter, very similar to what you do at the Alliance. And it's a way for the restaurants to kind of see, what's out there and what's available. If they want to drill down more, they can. So we give them like a summary every week of what's important to them that they're probably missing, because as we know, restaurants are way too busy in the day-to-day to see the help that's out there for them. So we're a support network for the restaurants. So that's one thing. Another big thing we do is the public-facing Eats in Queens newsletter, which is sort of like the Queens version of Eater, New York Times, Time Out. It is a focus on the Queens food and culture scene. So we celebrate the restaurants and cultures that share their food with New York City. And of course, the other thing we do is food relief. When we raise money, we partner with restaurants in their communities to do food relief. So we might partner with a Sri Lankan restaurant to do halal food for people in their community who are going without, or we'll partner with Rincon Salvadorian restaurant to do food relief with Venezuelan moms and babies at a nearby shelter. And it's a way of basically the community takes care of itself.
Working with all these different restaurants in different neighborhoods across the borough, is there like a common theme? So you mentioned a Sri Lankan restaurant, or you mentioned a Thai restaurant. When you speak and you're working with the owners, are there like characteristics among those people that just kind of cuts across cultures, cuts across different types of restaurants?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we all have in common, what they have in common is they are so generous to a fault. So when we tell them we're going to pay you to do food relief, they're just used to being asked for donations of food. So the generosity of spirit, generosity, in community with their neighbors. The other side is, as we know, restaurant people aren't always the best business people. I think of them as artists. They're passionate about their skill. It's a way to support their family. So they do need help. And we find ways to give them help, different languages, different mindset. You have to listen to your audience and take care of them.
What have you learned just as a human, as Jonathan Forgash, by talking to all these different restaurateurs, sampling all their different types of cuisines? How has Queens Together actually changed you as a person? We know how the organization has helped change and support others, but what has it done for you, Jonathan Forgash?
It made me realize we're all the same. We all have moms and grandmas that used to cook for us. It doesn't matter what culture you're in. If you invite me to your restaurant, it's like I'm being with your family. Queens is a neighborhood of families that share.
You basically launched Queens Together at the beginning of the pandemic, back in 2020, when New York City and the world basically got shut down. And now here we are, it's 2024. You've done so much impactful work, and I certainly don't want to say that everything's better, but we're definitely not, in the darkest days of the pandemic. So hopefully the organization's kind of found a footing, kind of recalibrating, okay, what comes next? So what does come next for Queens Together? And you?
Yeah, so we're just going to keep growing, right? So when COVID shut down New York, I was sitting at my kitchen table because my day job had gone remote, and everyone's shutting down. All the restaurants were shutting down. And I live in Astoria, so we all knew what was happening here at Elmhurst Hospital. So we were just putting out fires. there was no rhyme or reason. We did what we did. We knew what to do. We made it happen. But now, 4 years later, look at us. We have partnerships with the Hospitality Alliance, Small Business Services, leaders in Congress, city and state elected offices. We have really great sponsorship, partners. So now the plan is to grow, solidify and build our systems, expand our network of restaurants. We have about 500 restaurants in our network. We work with, we've worked with 40 plus community groups. Our goal now is to continue to support restaurants with knowledge and information advocacy, grow our funding for food relief that partners with the restaurants to do work in their community. And unfortunately, there's always another disaster. So the next time there's a disaster in New York, Queens Together will be the boots on the ground connector for all the national funds and support coming in. And we're going to know who needs it most, and we're going to get that food and support to those businesses and neighbors.
What is your message to restaurants in Queens? Just whatever it is.
Sure. Queens Together is a restaurant-driven food relief organization. So what that means is we help you do better in business, and we're a nonprofit, so there's no dues, no fees. And when we help you do it better in business, you're in a better position to offer jobs and goods and services to your community, and you're in a better position to do food relief with us when we call on you to support our neighbors.
What do you just say to anyone in Queens or any New Yorker, really anyone anywhere watching about Restaurant Month and the organization? If they feel inspired, how do they get involved, and how can they benefit from all the good work you do?
Yeah, so a lot of what we do is celebrating the restaurants that help us do food relief. So this is our second annual Restaurant Month. It takes place all through March. And the restaurants that signed up to support by offering discounts and specials, they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. So in return, we celebrate them. So if you have any interest in eating well, doing good work, feeling really good by simply spending your money at local small business restaurants, knowing that these people are helping us feed people who are facing food and economic insecurity, I think it's a no-brainer. For $25 donation, you get this VIP pass. You can use it all month long, spend your money at the restaurants, and know that your money is doing good.
Where do they find more information, the participating restaurants? How do they purchase one of those VIP cards?
Yeah, queenstogether.org. Right there up on top, there's an Eats in Queens Restaurant Month graphic. Just click on it. Takes you to the Restaurant Month website. There's currently 45 restaurants signed up. There's events, everything you need to know about Restaurant Month and what we do. And really simple.
Well, what about that third category, the people that really need to be the beneficiary of the food relief work? If I run an organization, or I'm just, live in the borough and I need some support, can they reach out to you too, and how?
Yeah, they can. So, Queens Together is very small. We do the work we do through partnerships. So you're right, we left that part out. It's the community-based organizations, faith-based organizations. They know what their neighbors need. They run the food pantries. So they connect with us. We put them into our network, and when they need food, we find restaurants that support the cultural mix of that neighborhood. We put them together, and we feed the people in their network.
I love it. Hyperlocal. Culturally appropriate, authentic. So listen, thank you for all the amazing work that you do.
Yeah, man, thank you.
We're gonna have to go out and enjoy some meals, but keep up the good work, and love having the Hospitality Alliance and our Impact Foundation being able to support the critically important work that you're doing. So thank you, really mean that.
Yeah, sure. I just want to say that we did not know each other before COVID, and this is another example. We developed a professional relationship and now a friendship. We've supported each other. You've really supported us in our work. And this is just another example that we are all different parts of the jigsaw puzzle of a community. And by all coming together, we can make anything happen. And we really appreciate your support.
100%. I am just so connected to Queens, as I had mentioned. I have family, business here in the food service industry for many, many years. I lived in the borough for many, many years, and I am just so passionate about finding the people in the community that are doing the real work. And when you can combine that important, impactful work with food, it does not get any better than that. And I'm just so thrilled to have been able to be here, experience, today's event, speak with these incredible restaurateurs, community advocates, and be able to really let everyone know about Jonathan and the work that Queens Together is doing. There's ways that they can support, and there's ways that they can go out and have incredible food, incredible experiences, and really do real good for the community. So I'm Andrew Rigie, New York City Hospitality Alliance. Thank you so much for watching, for joining us, and I really hope I'm going to see many people at many of these participating Queens Together Restaurant Month restaurants very soon.
I'm Jonathan Forgash, Queens Together, and I'm here with...
I'm Andrew Rigie, and I'm here to eat.
We are promoting Eats in Queens Restaurant Month. It's a Queens Together program for the entire month of March. We are celebrating the restaurants of Queens as they help us raise money for food relief.
Listen, I know I don't have to tell you, Queens is like the most diverse place anywhere, the most diverse, incredible restaurants anywhere, and so many of them are participating in Jonathan's organization, Queens Together's Restaurant Month. So people should go do what, Jonathan?
Oh yeah, go to queenstogether.org, you click on the Eats in Queens Restaurant Month graphic, go to the website, sign up, donate, and start eating.
Can't argue with that.
All right.
Go, do it.
Every small business has a story, and often it's multi-generational. That's not something you're going to see when you're Googling. That's not something you're going to see in pictures, but you will in video when you get to see it firsthand. Flavors of New York has taken my efforts and has just given it life and energy and scale. That to me is what's going to help us continue to grow as a chamber. The threat of the pandemic and people shifting their buying habits, now more than ever, it's so important that we support those mom and pop shops. They are the fabric of our community. They are what gives our community personality and connection and sort of the heartbeat of who we want to be and where we're headed. The work that is being done is going to change small businesses, and it will be a lifeline. So I hope that whether it's government or big box stores or companies that talk about their local roots will get behind this and support this in a meaningful way.